everyone. I'm streaming live. It is a little late, but I figured it would be fun to come on and chat with all of you because I've been meaning to do this for days now. Coming on to chat, coming on to do lives, but every time something happens and I'm unable to make it happen. So I had some time tonight, and I had a scheduling snafu about something earlier, and then this spot opened up. So here I am. I hope you'll all join me. I know that it's a little late, so maybe not too many people are going to show up, but it'll be fun. I've got a whole bunch of questions that y'all posted about sleep. So I wanted to come on and, answer some of your questions because, yeah, it's super fun to do. Also, I'm on a 369. It's 789 repeat. So this is my third repeat. So I've been now cleansing for 18 days today, which is pretty cool. So tomorrow starts my fourth repeat. And let me know how you're all doing. If you're jumping on here, say hi. Tell me where in the world you are. Tell me what in the world you're eating or drinking. This is a very interactive chat, so come on and say hello. Sally Lucas, my, I have not seen you in a long time. I hope you're doing really well. Thanks for being here. Okay, so I wanted to start with some of the questions you all submitted about sleep because so many of you have been talking to me about how poor your sleep is. Here's my orange juice. I hope you have something nice to sip on while we chit chat and do Q&A. So I feel like it's a nice, cozy evening. It's sort of quiet here. I never get this level of quiet when I'm working, so there's always noise in my background. Elizabeth Westerman says, I'm eating my kiwi in Ottawa, Ontario. Sally says, I'm getting ready for my daughter's wedding. It's been busy. Weddings are super busy. I wish you all the very best with it. I'm sure it'll be so incredibly special, Sally. Sending you big hugs for that. All right, you guys. Keep the questions coming. So pop in, say hello. I love hearing from all of you. Tell me what in the world you're eating or drinking. I'm working on my second orange juice of my juice day. And I got these peonies out of my garden today, which was really nice. I've been outside, so I got some sun. And I have to say, today was a really good day. So I feel good, and I'm excited to come and do Q&A. All right, so I have a question that somebody, Cato Pitmus Primus. It's a really interesting handle. Why do dates intensify period pain, especially at night on the first day? They don't actually. So I'm not sure if you're having trouble digesting them, which is maybe why they could be pushing up against swelling that you're having already, but they don't actually do that. So I hope that helps you, or maybe it doesn't, but I've eaten dates throughout my periods, and many of my clients, it's never been an issue. It's probably something else going on. So if you can, I can troubleshoot with you on that one. Okay, so FedEx Santiago says, what's good for sleepless nights? Sleepless nights, if you're just joining me, come on and say hello. Come on and say hello. Say hi. Tell me where in the world you are. Tell me what in the world you're drinking or eating. Felix Santiago says, what is good for sleepless nights? Now, this is a really good question because how many of you deal with a sleepless night? It's really hard, right? Sleepless nights can be an issue for many. We just had a full moon 2-3 days ago. Did you all sleep well during the full moon, or were you restless? Were you awake? One of the things I love for a sleepless night is to be able to take some melatonin, some GABA, they really help. Bringing in a smoothie, one that I love. I've actually posted about it on my Instagram. It's mangoes, cherries, a little bit of celery, banana, and coconut water. And you sort of mix all that up. You make a small smoothie for yourself and start drinking that before you go to bed. And really, you will have a much better night. All right. So if you're just jumping on here, come and say hello. Tell me where in the world you are. Tell me what in the world you're drinking. I am on day 9 of my 369 cleanse, working on my orange juice, as you can see here. Um, I feel really good on my cleanses. Love doing them. So, Esmeralda asks, is surgery the only solution for a large ovarian cyst and scar tissue? Any recommendations? So, it just depends. If it's bothering you and you really need to deal with it, then I would say surgery might be the only option. But if it's not bothering you and you're not in pain and it's not pushing up against anything important, and you can sort of live with it, then you can take the time to shrink it. Many of my clients take the time to shrink some their cysts and nodules. So, and if it doesn't end up working for some reason or whatever reason, then you can do a little bit more with the surgery. But really, you should try pomegranate juice. You should try shaga tea, a little melatonin, antiviral protocols, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie, no troublemakers, no eggs, no dairy, no gluten, no corn, no soy, no canola, no coffee, no vinegar. Get off all of those things because eggs feed the cysts, make them bigger. Dairy makes them bigger, gluten makes them bigger. So you want to stay away from those. And then you want to bring in a little bit more, cat's claw, core 7. I talk about core 7 all the time. So core 7 is cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root, um, zinc, B12, micro C lysine. So all that can be super helpful. Amy Rude Miller. Hi, Amy. You had 2 32-ounce celery juices today and you're in Westchester, New York. Well, welcome. Thanks for being here. Sally says, I slept well. I have a cherry banana smoothie at bedtime. That is amazing. It works really well. Another question is from Elena or Alania or Elaine. Sorry, art and dance. Okay. I have had a suspicion that all of the citrus and tomatoes I ingest with protocols may be triggering my canker sores. They typically don't actually trigger. It could be something else. Um, yeah, take a break for a minute and see what happens. Yeah. So Amy says, we love ABCV thanks to you. Yeah, it's a great spot, right? Thank God you can get some options there. Actually, quite a few options. So I think that's wonderful. All right. So our next question is from, again, FedEx Santiago 93. He or she says, I feel and hurt my lower back and got so much vertigo. I've been having sleep issues. Is it because of my injury? It could be. It really could be. So if you have an injury, you want to treat it with nettle, MSM, silica, start to get in those. They can help with injuries. Do a little lysine, do a little zinc, do a little B12. Those are all super helpful. So start to get those in, and they make a difference. And silica is very important. Cat's claw lemon balm, really helpful for vertigo. So is lomatium. So is monolaurin. So is eyebright. So you can bring those in. I have to tell you guys a win. I was, this is I don't know how many times I've done this cleanse, but recently started it again. And I had this like low level tinnitus in my ears for, I don't know, maybe 3 decades. And day 5 of the cleanse, I woke up one morning and the sound was gone. And it's been at least 2-3 weeks since then. And I've been like closing my ear, trying to listen for it. It's not there. So I feel like one more symptom, which I barely noticed, reversed doing the cleanse. It's such an incredible cleanse. Um, Christina Ricardis, nice to see you here. It's been a while. What to do for a large fibroid causing extreme bleeding? Well, if it's causing extreme bleeding, I would get it taken out. I wouldn't mess with it. I would get it taken out. There's no um, sense in bleeding. When you're bleeding, you're losing vitality. You want to make sure you're not losing that. So, um, I don't know how long you've been bleeding for. I don't know how much of your energy it's taken already. So it's been a while that I would get rid of it. But if it's just started and you have the energy to keep going, then you might want to do some protocols to deal with the fibroid. But if it's already that big and it's already bleeding, I don't want you to lose blood over it because that's not worth it, right? Sally Lucas says, if we take Total Immune Blend supplement, should we reduce the zinc and mullein that we take with the protocol we're working on or leave it as it is? You can leave it as it is if you can handle it. If you cannot and you're sensitive, you need to come down, you can do that too. All right. Next question is from CPhil444, and she says, why can't I stay asleep all night long? Because you probably have one of 8 sleep issues or sleep, something is sort of interrupting your sleep. And those 8 issues, I'm actually teaching about them in my upcoming sleep workshop. So, right there, if you want to click on it and take a look, if you've not seen it, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're either not able to fall asleep, if you're waking up in the middle of the night, staying awake for a few hours, or you're sleeping in light sleep, coming in and out of sleep, or you're waking up early in the morning and unable to go back to sleep, or you're awake all night, and really getting like an hour or 2, and that's all you're getting. So we look at each type of sleep issue, and we're helping you to determine what sleep issue you have, what's the root cause, and to help you get the support that you need to get better. Nell Andress, nice to see you here. You know what was my problem having a light, long infection for 6 months? Had a little cold, always mucus, and now I know it was about strep. Yes, well, strep is a bear. It really is a bear, honestly. So, our next question is from, so to answer your question, C. Phil, I would need to know a little bit more about what your sleep issue looks like. So if I know what it looks like, I can help you figure it out. But since I don't think you're here, or if you are, let me know. But if you're not here, then come back to me and DM me about it. Should you sleep train your baby? Akila's Healing says, any tips? Heck no. Don't sleep train. Sleep training is very adrenalizing for mom, dad, and baby. And it's not something I personally believe in or I personally did. I tried it briefly for a hot second and I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work for my family or my kid. So I didn't do that anymore. Miriam says, will you do a group 369 again? Yes, we hope to later this year. Stay tuned because we're definitely doing it as a group. We're doing it as a group in membership right now. So if you want to jump in on that, you can. We're going to go for about 2 weeks and it's going really well. So you can join membership to get it within membership, but the free cleanse that's open to the public, that's coming very soon, in probably after summer, actually. Weird thing, I have a burning, tingling tongue, or like my tongue is bigger than my mouth. I wake up with a coating. It feels related to digestion. Coming back to CJ. So you've been away from CJ for a while. Yeah, that's a good idea to come back to it. If you're having burning mouth or burning tongue, it's very likely from shingles. And shingles can swell the tongue, so can make it bigger. So I would 100%, come back to CJ, start celery juice and heavy metal detox smoothie, and then bring in some supplements, like bring in propolis, bring in lysine, bring in zinc, bring in vitamin C, bring in olive leaf, bring in some licorice root, some golden seal, some total immune blend. These are all great supplements for this condition. So if you're all joining me just now and you're coming on here, I have a new sleep workshop that's starting next week. Come join me and check it out because it's going to be an amazing workshop. Lots of bonuses are available. Come and learn about sleep, and we'll be doing all the sleep tools together to help people learn and retrain themselves on how to be able to sleep better again. Michelle Lynn, extreme tiredness at night, but then I'm wide awake when I get into bed. That is such a classic sleep issue. Classic, 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 which means it's happening because your adrenals are out of whack and your adrenals are revving up in the nighttime. That's when you get your second wind and you wake up more versus being awake during the day and giving you energy during the day. But during the day, they might be crashing, right? So you're tired at night, so they're crashing at that time. But then when you get in bed, they kind of rev up again. So, um, and the mind racing that comes from that adrenaline rush. So that's happening because of weakened adrenals and probably a liver that's a bit slow. And Michelle, it's nice to see you again because I don't think I've seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. So I would start to take on a little bit more licorice root, some ashwagandha. Those will help to balance things out, but make sure you're eating every 90 minutes and maybe during the adrenal fight or flight stabilizer shot. I think that could also help you. So another question that came through from people are from JJ Carino. At times I suddenly wake up because I couldn't breathe. This happens a few times at night and it's very scary. You should go get yourself checked to see if you have sleep apnea, because if you have sleep apnea, then you could be suddenly waking up and that can cause issues as well. Next question is from Camila Maui, and she says, tips for staying asleep, improving deep sleep, and REM sleep. So REM sleep is rapid eye movement sleep, which happens. So typically your deep sleep, according to my Aura Ring, right? So deep sleep happens in the early part of the night. From when you first fall asleep for the first like 2-3 hours, you should be in deep sleep. If you're not being able to get into deep sleep, then you will struggle, right? Because then you won't feel as rested. If for improving deep sleep, you have to have more rested adrenals and your heart rate has to slow down. I will be actually explaining all of these mechanisms and how to read the information from the Aura Ring in my new sleep course. So definitely come and check it out. You can just click on that, QR code and go tap on it and it'll open up for you to check out. So yeah, if you have, you want to understand how to get that heart rate down at night. And often adrenal loads can get heart rates up at night, and or a viral load can get your heart rate up at night. In the program, I'll be giving you personal advice on how to bring your basically heart rate down so that you can actually heal. Nicholas Daiku, hello and welcome. You have a question. You're saying, I've been experiencing jaw pain, especially when I yawn. How do I heal this? Probably you have a little bit of shingles pain going on in the jaw, unless you were injured. I don't know. Is it both sides? If it's both sides, then very likely it's shingles. So when you're yawning, maybe when you're laughing, maybe when your mouth is open, if you're singing, you can experience and replicate that pain, not just when you're yawning. It does mean that there's nerves that are inflamed. So they're getting triggered when you move your mouth. So, I mean, if it's only happening when you're yawning, then it's probably mild. It's not that bad. But I would work with the shingles protocol, bring in some ALA, nettle leaf, curcumin, cal poppy. But also you need shingles protocol. So zinc, vitamin C, lysine, licorice root, propolis, things like that. Really helpful to bring in to help reduce the pain. Bourbon Beginnings, nice name. If I got my wisdom teeth taken out a few years back, does that affect your health in any way? And I feel like one of them has grown back. Could that be true? It is rare that a tooth will grow back if you're not doing all the things to grow it back, because you can grow teeth back. It's rare, but it can happen. Um, Jackie, nice to see you here, honey. Mwah. Big hugs to you. Um, so does it affect your health? No. If you have your wisdom teeth taken out, it's not going to impact your health in that it's going to give you a chronic illness or make a chronic illness worse. It's not going to do that. Um, and if you don't have an infection, it's not going to do anything really. It's just, and can a tooth grow back? It's totally possible. Yes. Our next question is, with sleep issues, if I scroll before bed, check my social media, I totally cannot fall asleep for an hour. Yes, so you stay off your phone. Good sleep hygiene. We'll talk about that in the sleep workshop. Definitely check it out. It starts next week. We have a lot of fun bonuses and things. I love teaching and learning together because it's so important for us to learn the information which comes directly from the books, but also I'm troubleshooting with you, giving you personal advice, giving you answers to your questions. So I can go into a little bit over here, but obviously not too deep. So if you cannot fall asleep for over an hour, have you tried doing some sleep support? So have you tried bringing in the cherry mango smoothie, or having cherries and mangoes before you go to bed? Or have you tried doing some, uh, like melatonin and GABA before you go to bed, because they can also be helpful. For some people, valerian can be helpful. So don't scroll, put your phone away when you get into bed. Maybe read, do something different that actually soothes your soul and calms you down. And then hopefully you'll feel better and be able to fall asleep more quickly. Maria144, like your handle. What can help with clogged ears? Also feels like the canals that go down the side of the throat also feels clogged. That's probably because you have either a strep infection or you have a viral inflammation in the ears. But more likely it's a strep infection. So, yes. So Sally says, will the sleep while teaching class be saved? Yes, of course. Everything gets saved and recorded and you can watch it later. So if you're getting clogged, 100% look at doing strep protocols, vitamin C, zinc, golden seal. Those are the top three. And then there's so many more. Oil of oregano, ones that you should build in. But yeah, start there and build from there. How much melatonin is recommended? Can I take more than 2? Are you asking about Vimergy? Yeah, you can take more than 2, but I cannot recommend something for you because I'm not working with you. But for sure, you can take more. I mean, if you look at the books, there's recommendations for, in some protocols, really high dosages. But yeah, but I will be, like I said, going into a lot of supplements for sleep and all their dosaging as well. Minako, nice to see you here. I have never had a problem sleeping, but I had chronic problems not able to sleep when I was a child, like before school ages. I'm really glad that you can sleep. It matters a lot, especially with what you're dealing with. All right, our next question is from Barry Manilow, and that's Barry, Beary. Taking melatonin and rhodiola gives me a headache. What else can I take? So if it gives you a headache, you can try doing some magnesium glycinate. You guys aren't talking about magnesium. Magnesium is really important for sleep and before you go to bed. So bringing in magnesium, bringing in some GABA, bringing in some valerian. Try valerian if melatonin doesn't work for you, and do the cherry mango before bed and see how that helps. So Westy 01200 says, how do elevated cortisol levels affect sleep? it makes it much harder to sleep and much harder to get a deep sleep. Michelle Hare says snoring and mouth breathing in children, large tonsils as well. So if you're having issues with snoring, if you're not breathing as well, then you want to do the protocols to reduce strep, because large tonsils are caused by a strep infection. Also, could be, an early mono in a child can cause that. So you want to make sure that you're doing the protocols like doing the core 7, B12, zinc, micro, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root. All of them are really important to bring in. And if your child is snoring and they have large tonsils, then it could be that they have a deep infection. So, like sleep apnea, sleep obstructive sleep apnea, and all of these issues that can show up when you're sleeping. Can be addressed, and we will be addressing them as well, these issues as well, in the workshop. Cbell23 says, how do I change my clock to get sleep earlier and stop so many wake ups in the night? So really, I mean, if you're waking up multiple times at night, probably your liver is really not great. And you could have some, sort of agitation in your brain, which can cause you to keep waking up. Toxic heavy metals, for example, cause agitation in the brain that can keep you waking up. So you need to look at the root causes. I keep harping on this because so many people ask me about their sleep issues, but we don't know what the root cause is because I don't have enough information. So it sounds like for you, you might be waking up multiple times a night. Other questions that I have for you is, do you fall asleep okay? Or do you struggle to fall asleep? How many times do you wake up at night? Do you wake up, like once at say 3 o'clock and once at say 5 or 6 o'clock, and then you can't go back to sleep? And is it the same time every night, or is it sporadically throughout the night at different times? So, um, if you can answer those questions, then I can give you a better idea what type of protocol you need to address that problem. Okay, so yeah, let me know. Jana8870 says, I wake up during the night for hours. What can I do? So, see, this is a very specific issue, which is being caused by a really sluggish, toxic liver and adrenals that are weakened. And the two are combined. And she says, I take magnesium and lemon balm, but in this case, I would be working on your viral load. So, you can take more to sleep. Like you could take some melatonin, you could do some GABA, but what I would do is to bring in a lot more support for your viral load and your liver. So maybe you want to start a liver cleanse. Maybe you want to start by reducing your fats. Maybe you want to start by bringing in some of the tools of the 369, like the spinach soup, for example, right? That can also help you to get better sleep. But you need a lot more mineral salts in this case. So I would work on that and also take those sleep supports as well. So, Lydia says, how bad is a lot of anesthesia um, for a 6-hour procedure for veneers? I mean, the veneers themselves also have toxicity in them. So, like, it is what it is. Like, it's not just the anesthesia. Plus, maybe after you're going to be given antibiotics or some other pain support. So, I mean, it comes with risks, but, you do it. But you have support to get it out after you do that as well. So if you need to do it, don't be afraid. Go ahead and do it. But then do the cleansing protocols after. Make sure you're staying fat free or low fat. Make sure you're off the troublemakers. Make sure you're doing, the pharmaceutical exposure shot, which will help to get pharmaceutical medication out of you. So those are all good ones. So another question we have is from Ali Body Logic. She says, if I am usually waking at 3 a.m. to eat and then back to sleep, will taking melatonin suppress that? Yes, it should help a little bit. I meant, will melatonin mask that adrenal need for glucose? You should eat before you go to bed so that if you're waking up because you're hungry and you're low in glucose, that won't happen. But also, melatonin will help you to sleep through it for sure. And you're welcome, Maria. Okay, our next question is from Inkpot. And Inkpot says how to deal with restless legs and spasms and twitches in the body before sleep. That's a heavy metal issue. So if you're having that, then you would need to work harder during the day on your toxic heavy metal detox. So I would work with advanced heavy metal detox smoothie, maybe the extractor, and do more protocols to soothe spasms like taking more ginger, cal poppy, MSM, propolis golden seal to help calm down, and curcumin too. Um, Y Garza 16 says, I wake up feeling like I didn't sleep. Oh my God, I lived that for so many years. Um, I would wake up in the morning utterly exhausted. Um, so, um, so if you wake up and you are not rested, that means very likely your liver was working overtime at night and your heart rate never came down deep enough, low enough so that you could feel rested. And that is driven by viral load. So to address that, you have to address your viral load, right? That's very important. And to address your viral load, I don't know what other symptoms you have going on, why Garza, but a basic protocol to address viral load, which you can find in my Roadmap to Healing video. I don't know if you've seen my Roadmap to Healing, but I'll post it here for you um, so that you can start doing sort of the basics of the roadmap to healing, and start with the celery juice. It outlines the morning cleanse. It outlines the supplements you should take, the core seven. It talks about adrenals. It talks about all the basics, right? So I'm posting it on the YouTube chat. So when you go back and watch, you should be able to see it. And you can't seem to get to deep sleep. What helps with this? You've got to get your viral load down. So the roadmap to healing is really summarizing so much information to help you get your viral load down, really, right? It is designed for getting your viral load down. That is the root of all of it. So I hope that helps. Bobby Boxer, nice to see you here. How are you doing? What about dreaming? I hardly dream anymore unless it's a spiritual dream, and that only happens about once or twice a year. I'm going to try Dream Shifter. Anything else? Angel of Dreams can be helpful. And then, but also supporting your adrenals. If you're not dreaming, it's because your adrenals are really weak, right? If you're not dreaming at all, it's because your adrenals are so weak, you need your adrenaline at night to dream. So if you don't have extra adrenaline to spare, your body cannot make it, you won't dream. Another question that we have here is from Bourbon Beginnings again. I'm having pressure in my head. Unexplainable. I'm sure it has something to do with my adrenals, but it's the worst I've felt in 10 years of following the protocols. Hey, Bourbon, I'm so sorry to hear that you're struggling this much. So if you have pressure in your head, that means there's something swelling, either nerves or the brain. Very likely it's nerves, because in rare cases does the brain swell that much. It can happen, but most of the time it's nerves. So if you have a pressure in your head, um, very likely it's from nerves swelling and you have inflammation. So if you're feeling bad, then I would increase cranial nerve protocols from the Brain Saver books. I would get all of those and start working on them. Then our next question is so if you're just joining me, we're doing a Q&A. So jump on, say hello, ask me a question. Our next question is from Lao Tel, and she says, any pillow recommendations for sleeping, airway, and mouth breathing? So I love a contoured pillow. In fact, Anthony used to recommend this on his Amazon store, which I absolutely love this pillow. And you can get that one. It's very comfortable. It gives you the right neck alignment at night and the head alignment at night. So it helps with airway. It helps with all kinds of things. Now, mouth breathing often happens because your basically you're unable to breathe from the nose, right? And then your mouth is open and you end up breathing from the mouth because when you lay down, the pressure of laying down, the gravity of it like pushes. If you already have swelling here or blockages here, then you can't breathe, right? So um, to address those, again, I'm dealing with them in the sleep workshop. So come join me for this because we will be talking in a lot of depth about how to overcome different causes of breathing issues at night. um, and one of them is either figuring out whether you have obstructive or non-obstructive sleep apnea. And obstructive sleep apnea is often caused by, strep or congestion or viral inflammation. And non-obstructive is because of heavy metals on your nerves. It's a nervous system thing, but it can be more than just heavy metals also. Jacinta Smith says, I wake up approximately 3 to 4 a.m. Many people are saying this. Are you noticing a pattern? So many people are saying that they wake up at 3 or 4 in the morning, and I've been this way for years. This is because your liver is waking up at this time, spasming and waking you up because it's trying to cleanse itself. And that's why you're waking up at that time. So, to deal with this particular issue, I do recommend sleep supports, but they're not enough. You have to do more for your viral loads to get that down. Um, and if you want specific help where I can go into more depth to answer your questions, please join the sleep program because I will be giving you personal support in that program. Ospalinka Kolinka. What a cute name. All right. So her question is, how do I fall asleep after a stressful night shift, adrenal fatigue? So if you have a night shift and you're up in the morning, I would be taking supplements to help with that. So I would take, lemon balm, magnesium, neuromag, melatonin, GABA in the morning, again with the cherry and mango uh, smoothie or fruit, and then bring in more adrenal fight or flight stabilizers as well, because that will help to calm your adrenals down so that you can sleep. Can you do the insomnia protocol with lemon balm and hibiscus tea on 369 cleanses? Yes, you can. You can. Why do I have periodic insomnia? Also, when detoxing metals, because Anthony says when you're rewiring the brain, you start to have some wakefulness until you rewire and then you'll be able to sleep again. Another question, Heal with Core. She says, I'm waking up between 3 to 5 a.m. GABA and hibiscus, good for this. Anything else? GABA is great for this, but also you have to address the liver. So many people just want to focus on all the sleep supplements, which can be helpful. But if you don't address the root cause, you're going to still run into problems. Mary MCMA says, trouble falling asleep early and then exhausted in the morning. Is that adrenal issues? Yes, 100% adrenals. So adrenal fight or flight stabilizer shot, energy shifter shot, adrenal supports, eating and grazing every 60 to 90 minutes, bringing in adrenal supplements too will be very helpful for this. All right. FG Hook says, only at night my hands are cramping and they are going numb. What's the reason? Very likely it's nerve inflammation from either, most likely shingles, could be EBV too. And that's why there's swelling in those nerves because when you lay down, it's pushing against swollen nerves, so you might be feeling that show up. To address that, you really want to bring in B12, zinc, curcumin, lysine, cat's claw, propolis, golden seal, lemon balm, magnesium. All of that will help. You can do more too, but I would get started there. Livets like how to better sleep. I take Core 7, magnesium, GABA, and honey. Well, what is the problem with your sleep? So you didn't tell me what the problem is. So tell me what the problem is, and I can answer your question. Breathing. So this is a longer question. How do I stop snoring at night? I stopped snoring 9 years ago when I stopped eating no foods, and then I started snoring again. 2 years ago, I lost 25 kilos. 9 years ago, I started snoring again 2 years ago. I lost 25 kilograms 9 years ago and I felt so good and I healed so much, but now it feels like I'm not sleeping enough. I breathe through my nose, not my mouth, and I stop breathing too at night. My brain fog is getting worse. How do I stop snoring? Please help me. My husband is affected by this too. Of course he would be. Um, so you have to, it sounds like you have a neurological sleep apnea situation happening. So I would work with removing toxic heavy metals and work with the tools that we have talked about. Before in this live to bring in you know things that bring down swelling. That's what you have to do. Swelling and inflammation of nerves. So but toxic heavy metals is a big piece of the equation, so definitely work with those tools. Like the heavy metal detox cleanses from the medical medium books is a great way to go. All right, our next question is from Elania Thini. She says sleep apnea, the reason is probably strep. Expect the protocol. What else to do? Um, it's more than just that. It was also I would do like a flushing of your nasal passages before you go to sleep so that you can sleep better, right? But you're on the right track. So keep going. Soul Mar Ceramica says, how much melatonin would you give your 4-year-old? I cannot answer that question because it's so abstract. And I know that you're probably asking for your 4-year-old. So I'm unable to give a dosage, but you can follow the bottle and get restful you and start with a few drops and go from there. But, that's most moms do that. Antagonista says waking up about 2-3 times a night, taking GABA, magnesium, melatonin tips. If you're waking up multiple times a night, I need to know more information. Why are you waking up multiple times a night? What's the pattern? Are you able to go back to sleep? Are you not able to go back to sleep? Are you in like a groggy state? Are you wide awake? Right? Tell me all those things. So when I post this, I'll tag you so you can find it. Kaya KK says, my child is 3 years old, waking up, needs me to touch her and sing. We sleep next to her, so improving her sleep, what can I do? So if your child is up and needs you, you can use some sleep supports for your child, like lemon balm, maybe a little melatonin to help her fall asleep and stay asleep a little longer and better. And also if you're sleeping next to her, she's sort of waking up and thinking it's playtime and mom is going to wake up and play with me or sing to me. So, I think it's also a question of children get into those habits. So you want to work with your child and get, um, like work with her and to maybe have her sleep with dad and maybe dad doesn't get up when she gets up. Or is she needing you to touch her so that she can go back to sleep? So I'm not clear on your question there. Bourbon Beginning says, could you mix all the core 7 together and what's the best time to do so? Yes, you can take them all together and you can take them normally. I recommend dosages twice a day. So you can take them after with your heavy metal detox in the morning and you can take them anytime after lunch. So you could take them with your afternoon snack or before dinner. You could take it with dinner or after dinner. That is probably the best thing to focus on. Christine Cousin says, I snore as well. I have mucus draining and stuffed up my nose. What can I do? You really need to up your strep protocols, Christine. Those would be the most important things to look at. Okay, our next question is Nourished by Compass. She says, I cannot sleep on the first few days of any cleanse. Yes, that's happening because you're cleansing and your brain is rewiring. It can cause some wakefulness. Hopefully you said first few days, so maybe the next few days you can sleep. Roxy Health Coach, baby night weaning advice, please. Always start by weaning the easier the easier feed. So if dad can put baby to sleep without mom, baby will sleep without a feed. Maybe the middle of the night so you can all sleep. You should still do a feed, but start by dropping one feed at a time. I liked to drop the feed before going to bed, and I liked to drop the feed early in the morning. I had to also evaluate which of my children, which each child was different, and which feed they would fight me on more. So if they fought me on a feed more at a particular time, like one of my daughters loved, she just wanted the boob to go to bed, right? I didn't drop that one for her, but I dropped the middle of the night for her. That was easier. But another one was opposite. So you have to watch your child and see what your child is really needing from you. Shen says, every night I take one melatonin and I wake up after 4 hours. I cannot go back to sleep. Why? Probably because your liver is spasming to detox and waking you up, especially when you have it's at the same time every night. That's often because of the liver. So I know that you don't do a lot of, you're sensitive, Shen. So I would start bringing in some shaga tea, bringing in some extra support, so it can help you to go so that liver is not spasming at that time of the night. You could take a little bit more melatonin if you wanted to when you wake up so you can go back to sleep more easily. Sometimes people wake up because they got low in glucose and they need to eat. There's many reasons why. Solicita Natalie says, every night I'm dreaming about people who are no longer with us. Tried the dream shifter shot. Good, because if you're dreaming about people that are no longer with you, if they're scary dreams, your soul is healing. If they're not scary, it could be a message, but dream shifter is the right thing to do. Sleepless the whole night. I'm getting 1 to 2 hours with melatonin for over a year now. 1 to 2 hours a night is very low. And if you're sleepless the whole night, then think about doing a deep heavy metal detox, because that's one of the reasons you can be awake all night. Too many metals in the sleep center of the brain. The Heather Sanders says, not quite perimenopause. I'm 38. Can't sleep for 2-3 days before my period. Very likely your viral inflammation is going up. So that's why you can't sleep. So you really want to do more protocols right in the lead up in that time when you're waking up more. Okay. Bourbon Beginning says, is there a difference? Is there a difference from making lemon balm tea at night rather than just using it in a dropper? Yeah, the tincture is more concentrated for sure. And guess what, guys? I've got a special Vimergy code. If you sign up for the sleep workshop, we've got a special Vimergy code. We've got special codes for discount codes with some companies I love who make sleep products. So definitely come and check that out, because it's going to be a fantastic workshop. Our next question is from Marina Reidler. Hey, she says, Maniza, I'm trying to heal irregular periods and perimenopause and whatever comes with that. However, there's so much info out there with people who work with women over 30 dealing with similar things to what I'm dealing with, and say grazing and snacking isn't good for issues with cortisol and insulin resistance. Any suggestions? Baloney. I disagree. Completely, utterly disagree with that. That will send you into more of a spiral with your adrenaline if you don't eat and graze. I mean, we've seen it. I've seen it proven over and 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 over again with all my clients and myself included. So, I mean, I have like actual experience with it. It's not true at all. You will just get into more of a mess if you. I mean, the thing is, they don't know. They're not talking about grazing on glucose and mineral salts. They're talking about grazing and snacking on whatever, which I don't recommend. And so I agree with them that I wouldn't snack on whatever, but I would snack on glucose and mineral salts. That's critically important. Colleen, nice to see you here. How are you? Dana Vanderbreck says, my feet feel irritated when I lay down to go to bed, which they keep me up. I fall asleep around 3 to 4 nightly. It's so frustrating. So if your feet get irritated when you lay down, that's a little bit of a restless leg situation. So you really want to work with toxic heavy metal removal and bringing in core 7, micro C, zinc, B12, lysine, cat's claw, lemon balm, licorice root, cal poppy, curcumin, um, like a magnesium glycinate, a little GABA. So you want to bring in all those tools in, especially tools that will soothe those nerves. Now, does heat or cold work better for your nerves? So at night before you go to bed, I would put either whatever feels more soothing, either an ice pack or a warm pack on them to calm them down so that you can sleep at night. And then, of course, sleep supports are also really important. But I hope that helps because, yeah, if you're not sleeping because you're in pain, that's really, really rough, really tough. Okay. Anna Hlavakova says, I need complete darkness and quiet, otherwise I will not fall asleep or wake up. And sudden tic or body movements that wakes me up while falling asleep. That's from toxic heavy metals. And if you are not a good sleeper, like you're a light sleeper, that's actually not good. It shows that your central nervous system is not grounded and calm. When you can sleep through anything and you're not a light sleeper, that's a strong nervous system. When you can, otherwise, you have a weak nervous system. Andreas says chronic sinus polyps healing with nose blocked still after 3 years being on If that's the case, and if you have polyps, that's from strep. So you really want to deal with strep, and you can reduce the polyps on strep, but again, it's not. You have to work really hard to do that. Actually, um, I've helped multiple people reverse their polyps. Yeah. So strep protocols, you've got to think about bringing in micro C, lysine, zinc, golden seal, lomatium, osha, eyebright, oregano, all those herbs. I know you've done it for about 3 years. So I don't know what you've done. Maybe you've done all these, but you need to go at it a little bit harder, a little bit harder. Claire Chichester says, waking up buzzing around 2 a.m. You're waking up and you're awake at 2 a.m. That's your liver and your adrenals, both, right? So you have to calm that liver down, soothe that liver. So do a lot more liver supports in the day. If you're not bringing in like burdock, dandelion, milk thistle, doing some of the elements of the 369 cleanse, if you cannot do a whole cleanse, that's going to help you to let it go more easily, and not wake up at that time in the morning. How do you calm nerves trembling and shaking with anxiety? Number one tool for this is lemon balm. Anything for tragic loss or grief, Mimi Perez, yes, of course. The trauma shock loss stabilizer shot from the Brain Saver books is amazing for this. And to bring in more, like I said, lemon balm and homeopathic ignatia is so helpful for that too. So I'm getting up every hour to urinate. It's been years. During the day, it's every 1 to 2 hours. What is this? Is it interstitial cystitis, Lindy Home? It could be, but if you're not also doing the same thing in the day, then it might not be, right? If you're getting up every hour to urinate, you have an overactive bladder. So use the overactive bladder protocol in Cleanse to Heal. WFP Valeria says yellow and orange glasses, yes or no? No, I have a filter on my computer, which works great, and you can use it on your phone as well. I don't worry about, I'm not going to wear glasses because I have spectacles that I need to wear at times, so I'm not going to wear those glasses. But yeah, I mean, put a filter on your computer that works much better than glasses. This is so, biodynamic. Anyway, those were all of the submitted questions. Bourbon Beginnings, you're saying really doesn't help. What doesn't help? Let me know what doesn't help. So, taking lemon balm, but I still have nightmares. Did the trauma shot, didn't take echinacea. If you're having nightmares, then the dream shifter shot would be helpful. Try that one. Huh. Okay. Yeah, lemon balm for tremors. I mean, if that doesn't work by itself, then bring in magnesium, cal poppy. There's a lot more you can do, to calm that down. You have to do a lot of nervous system support. So yeah, guys, I hope you've enjoyed tonight's edition of Q&A. Check out the sleep program. Click on the link. And yeah, come join me. And if you have not yet seen my sleep quiz, I'll post it. I'll post a link in the chat box here for you so you can see it. And you can actually figure out what your sleep issues actually are, right? And what they're coming from. It really helps to zone it down for you. Mimi says, polyps in female parts, is it the same protocol for nasal? No. What can you do for a bladder that starts? Linda Princess says, what can you do for a bladder that starts before you get to the bathroom? Oh man, I'm sorry. That's definitely tough. That's called incontinence, right? So for incontinence, that's because of there's too much strep in your system. Too much strep in the bladder, actually. So what I would do is start to work with strep protocols. Also, there can be a weakness of the sphincters. So you want to work with nettle, can be really helpful for that. There can be multiple things you can do look in the books, look in Cleanse to Heal. You can do a lot of support in Cleanse to Heal for UTIs and incontinence, but you really do need to work with the incontinence piece. That's the biggest piece of this, is don't miss the strep piece. Strep, if you work on strep, then you want to work on reducing. It could be strep, it could also be E. coli, but mostly it's strep. And also there's scar tissue in the bladder, which can cause the bladder to weaken. And when that happens, the bladder control weakens also. So you want to bring all of that in. That's really important. If your bladder's leaking when you sneeze, that's also incontinence, right? Same thing. So I've attached the link to the workshop as well. So, go ahead and you can see the links over there, both to the quiz and to the workshop. I hope you'll click on them. I hope you'll, take a peek and come join us, because we're diving in deep and you will be getting personalized support to answer your questions along with protocols. I cannot give dosages, but I will give you a protocol that you need for sleeping well again. Thanks for joining me today, you guys. It's been so much fun hanging out with you, answering all of your questions, getting to see some folks I don't normally see in the daytime because it's a different time of the day to do the live. I really like the nighttime lives. It's nice and quiet and we can kind of hang out and go at a gentle pace. I'm not rushed. And I look forward to seeing you all on the next one. So catch me tomorrow. I'm going to go live again. Linda Princess, you're most welcome. All right. Big hug.